Hello students, this is your English lesson. In this lesson we are going to read a story, The Toad's Warts, unit number 4 from Oxford Reading Circle 5. Students, first of all, let me clear about warts. A wart is a small growth with a rough texture that can appear anywhere on the body. Clear? Now come to the reading. A long time ago, a man named Chimpanzee was standing on the bank of the great Irrawaddy river, minding his own business and sharpening his weapons. A prawn, small shellfish with a long tail, irritated by his stomping around, bit him in the leg. Chimpanzee yelped and leapt up in the air. He could not see the prawn, and in his pain he staggered towards a tree and swung his knife around. The sharp weapon struck the trunk of a tree and cut it. The tree was startled and annoyed. Plop! It immediately dropped a fruit on to the man, but Chimpanzee was still leaping around from one foot to the other. The fruit missed him and hit a cock walking by. The confused cock was not pleased at all. It looked at the tree and noted its size. It was afraid to attack this great tree, so instead it scratched at a nest of ants who were busy with their work. The ants had plenty of work already. The last thing they wanted to do was to rebuild their nest. Right, they said in fury. It's war, and they attacked a passing snake and bit it all over. The snake wriggled even faster and shot straight into the forest nearby and bit a bear. What on earth did you do that for? Grunted the irate bear. Irate bear? Provoke me into annoy. Because you were there, said the snake, and it hurtled off to find some medicinal plants to ease the pain, medicinal having healing properties. The bear hurried off in the other direction and took out its fury on a young plantain tree. Young plantain, a low-growing plant. The bear lowered its head and dug furiously till the poor plant collapsed. A bat, living high up in the tree, just managed to get away before the tree hit the ground. It was not used to flying around in broad daylight, and it blundered about until it flew straight into an elephant's ear. Where am I? Thought the bat. It is dark and hairy in there. The bat bit the elephant, and the elephant trumpeted with pain and reared up into the air on its hind legs. It came crashing down again and kicked over a large stone mortar. The mortar rolled down a slope and crashed right into the house of a little old lady. It made a huge hole in the side of the house. The old lady may have been very little and she may have been very old, but she was also very furious. You stupid mortar, she shouted. Just look what you have done. Pay me, you will have to pay me to rebuild my house. Me? Said the stunned mortar. Why should I pay you? It was the elephant who kicked me down the hill. The old lady picked up a stout stick and ran up the hill to the elephant. Pay me the money to rebuild my house, she shouted. Me? Spluttered the elephant. Spluttered? To make a series of short, unclear noises. You should ask that bat over there. He bit me. Don't blame me, said the bat. It was the tree. The old lady wandered off to the plantain tree. The poor tree was lying flat on the ground. Blame the bear, not me, it groaned. The little old lady chased after the bear. Pay me the money to rebuild my house, she shouted. The bear grunted. Blame the snake who bit me. The little old lady found the snake and pinned it down with her stout stick. Pay me to rebuild my house, she shouted. Certainly not, hissed the snake. Some ants stung me, so ask them. The old lady found the tray of ants and asked them, but they told her to ask the destructive cock. Pay me to rebuild my house, she shouted at the cock. Ask that old tree, madam. It dropped a large fruit on my head. Hang on, said the tree. Blame that man, not me. He slashed me with a knife. The little old lady was furious by now. She ran up to the man and stopped in her tracks. It was her own dear son, Chimpanzee. You will have to rebuild my house, son, she said crossly. Surely, mother, replied the man, but first let me get that prawn who is the cause of all his trouble. Chimpanzee threw himself onto the ground and got hold of the prawn. The tree, the cock, the ants, the snake, the bear, the plantain tree, the bat, the elephant, the mortar, and the old lady looked at the prawn dangling between Chimpanzee's thumb and forefinger. You deserve to die, they said in chorus. Do you wish to die in cold or hot water? In cold, said the prawn as he wriggled free and slipped down into the river. Get him, they all shouted and ran after the prawn. Then the elephant slipped his trunk into the water and slurped to drink a liquid noisily. Very soon the river was quite dry. They seized the prawn and gave it to a fat toad to make into soup. They all relaxed beside what was the river and waited for the toad to make the soup. When the soup was ready, they all gathered around to eat, but much to their astonishment, the soup did not taste of prawn. The crafty toad had eaten the prawn. The others were so angry that they pinched him all over his back. And now you know why a toad has warts on his back. Like a good son, Chimpanzee rebuilt his mother's house, and because he was kind, he replanted the plantain tree. Everyone agreed that although the soup had been a disappointment, it had been an interesting day, but not for the prawn. Now come to the exercises. Questions. 1. Can you classify which incidents that took place were actually accidents and which were done on purpose? Answer. Chimpanzee was moving around doing his work, sharpening his weapons when the prawn irritated, bit him. Chimpanzee moved towards a tree in pain and swung his knife around. The weapon accidentally struck the tree and cut it. The tree dropped a fruit on purpose to hit him, but it hit a cock accidentally. The cock scratched the ant's nest on purpose, who bit the snake, which in turn bit a bear, which crushed a plantain. The bat who lived on the plantain tried to flee, but accidentally it flew into the elephant's ear and bit him. The elephant kicked over a stone mortar, which rolled down into an old lady's house. Question 3. Of all the animals that got hurt, which in your opinion was affected the most? Give evidence from the text. Answer. The ants were the most affected, so they bit the snake on purpose, declaring war. Reference to context. Reference to the text and figure out who might have said the following. Number 1. It's very dark in here. Bat. Number 2. I will suck it dry. Elephant. Number 3. I must find something to rub on it. Bear. Number 4. I will build it for you. Chimpanzee. Number 5. I will soon be in the soup. Prawn. Words and meanings. Find the meaning of the following words using a dictionary. Make 3 groups of 4 words each from the following. Number 1. Angry, annoyed, furious, irate. Number 2. Shock, daze, astonish, stern. Number 3. Race, hurry, hurtle, dash. Put the following sentences in order as they appear in story. A. The prawn bit the man in the leg. B. The man's sharp weapon cut the tree. C. The fruit from the tree hit a cock walking by. D. They attacked a passing snake. E. It lowered its head and dug furiously. F. The plant collapsed. G. It trumpeted and kicked over a stone mortar. Thanks for listening. For new videos, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you like my videos, please share and like.